On another topic, the Trump administration is preparing to accept a super luxury Boeing jumbo jet from the royal family of Qatar as a gift to be used as the new Air Force One. Four sources familiar with the planning tell NBC News. According to one of the sources, the arrangement will be done according to U.S. and international laws in observance of ethics rules. Ownership of the plane will then be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation once his second term ends, two of the sources confirmed. Trump confirmed the gift on social media yesterday while criticizing Democratic lawmakers who say it's another example of him using the presidency to enrich himself. So, Richard, first of all, how unusual would this be? How much of a potential conflict of interest is there? And the reporting that this goes to the Presidential Library, would that then mean actually to Donald Trump to be able to fly as much as he wanted, wherever he wanted?
Unusual is a good example of British understatement, Kathy, and I want to thank you for it. It is beyond unusual. Look, this would be a massive gift. This is from Qatar to the United States. In the short run, there's questions of security. The idea that Air Force One would be coming from another country and all the considerations that go into it. This is not, shall we say, simply a normal airplane. It is configured in all sorts of ways for what it can defend against and what it's able to carry out from when it's up in the air. And then, yes, it would be transferred in, several years to the Presidential Foundation, which would then, this would become an aircraft there for the personal use for then the former president of the United States. And the idea that it's not inconsistent with U.S. law, as the Attorney General and one of the lawyers seem to have said, because the quid pro quo is not explicit. That doesn't pass the seriousness test, because obviously this would mean that the government transferring the plane would get certain considerations, or we couldn't be sure that they didn't. So it's hard to imagine that people would not be, let me put it that way, would not be uncomfortable with this. And just as an aside, 10 seconds, we began the show with talking about Newark. Well, what is wrong with Boeing? The idea that this is even on the agenda, that you have a company, one of the major companies in the United States, that can produce a functioning Air Force One on time and remotely in the zip code of the budget. The fact that this is even contemplated seems to me something seriously wrong.
Yeah, I mean, certainly no doubt that delays with the new Air Force One, frustrating to a lot of presidents of either party. But yeah, Joe, I mean, to Richard's point here a moment ago about this uncertainty, even if there's no explicit quid pro quo, the fact that we even have to ask those questions in the years to come are exactly why this sort of thing has always been prohibited. So therefore, President, there wouldn't be concern about undue influence and the like. And I know we play the game a lot of like, what would it be like under another administration? But we just spent 4 years hearing about the, quote, Biden crime family and Hunter Biden allegedly in efforts to enrich themselves. And now we have this aircraft being gifted to the president for his personal use, both before and after his time in office. I mean, I suspect we're going to hear a lot from Democrats in the days ahead about this, to them anyway, appears untoward.
So, and David Ignatius, I just want to go to you on another issue that Richard brought up, which was actually the first thing that came to mind to me. Obviously, there are going to be the ethical concerns that Congress is going to talk about. But well, first of all, an American company not being able to deliver Air Force One in a way that is on time and that meets the specs in a way that the presidents want them to. But number two, I'm just curious about the security concerns. Again, letting another country build Air Force One for our American president to fly around on, I would think that would make most people in the national security community deeply unsettled.
Yeah, like having a stomach ache or wanting to throw up. I mean, they're charged with making sure that this space in which the president and his closest advisors discuss the most sensitive issues of policy is secure. How you would do that with a plane provided entirely by another country, where surveillance devices, systems, new technologies we may not even be aware of could be embedded in the plane. You'd have to take the darn thing apart and put it back together before you really felt secure about it. So, that's a whole other category of problems. I just think back to, recent years. If an American official traveled abroad and was given a ceremonial sword or, a leather-bound notebook, he'd have to declare it and give it to somebody at the State Department and probably never see it again. And here's a president who's going to take a 747 from another country. Are you kidding me? It's so completely different from anything we've ever seen. So the security problems are significant, but oh my gosh, how could this be happening? That's really what hits me.
Yeah, Mark Polymoropoulos was telling me about how he got given a $200 watch and he had to return it. This is a little different scale. So it's a plane that may come with added benefits for the Qataris as well. David Ignatius, thank you very much for coming in this morning.